This is something that I tell clients or people who want to start a YouTube channel, which is subscribers is bullshit.
For those of you that are listening at Digital Marketing Agency, we're going to skip over the nuances here. You should have a YouTube channel, obviously, that focuses on your niche and all this good stuff. Now, Sebastian, talk to me about getting started. Like, what are some of the things, like, for me, holding me back was, man, I just don't have enough content. I don't want to launch a YouTube channel with one video. What do I even do here? Do I do tags? And there's this thing I was researching called TubeBuddy. You know, like what are some thoughts on like getting started from someone who knows nothing, that doesn't have a team, that doesn't have all the resources? How are you helping people get going like right off the bat?
So I think that the first is the mind shift, right? The first thing, and this is something that I tell clients or people who want to start a YouTube channel, which is subscribers is bullshit.
Okay.
And this is the first truth that you have to embody, right? Like, subscribers is bullshit completely. Now, what do I mean by that? Does it matter to have subscribers? We just talked about subscribers, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you're skinny, it doesn't mean you're healthy. Okay. So subscribers, it's a vanity metric. There's some value, there's some trust, right? But many people get holed up in the idea of subscribers, and they're like, holy shit, I did YouTube for 3 months, 4 months, and then, it was so depressing that I had like 300 people. So I stopped. But the value is not in subscribers. The value is not there. The value is that YouTube has this uncanny, like this interesting value, which is it's an acquisition channel. So you don't see it as subscribers, or you don't see it as, okay, this is the channel that has subscribers. You see it as an acquisition channel. It's a retention channel, okay? And it's also, so it's like a top of mind, right? Like you can send this to people and be top of mind, right? So acquisition, retention, and it's also an awareness channel. Now, could you debate that Facebook is the same and Instagram is the same? Yeah, but from what I've seen, I haven't seen YouTube channels from business owners that their Facebook and their Instagram brings more organic revenue to them. So the first thing that I tell them is like, you have to see this as an actual business. Like it's not a YouTube channel with subscribers. It's what we're focusing on viewership and the retention of people listening the message, right? And that is the first to start. That is the first thing that I say, right? And then people get a bit interested. And then I say this story that happened to me. I was in an event in India, and this lady had a channel, and her channel was 2,000 subscribers. And she asked from the audience, Sebastian, how do I get more people to convert? I tell her how to get more people to convert. You optimizing certain cards and end screens, stuff like that. We can go deep into that later, but that's not the point. And then she texted me 1 month after, and she says, we're generating 500 leads every month. She had, I think, 1,000 subscribers. And I was like, that can't be, that's bullshit. I'm like, there's no way. So she was generating more leads or in 2 months, she was getting the same amount of leads as subscribers. And this is when I learned from a student of mine, when I looked into her channel, that it was basically, that it was bullshit. And not only that, I started to see that 80% of people who watch your content across the board in every industry I've seen, 80% of people are not subscribers.
I wonder if do you think that even changes by industry, right? Like if my audience is young, do these kids subscribe at a much higher rate than the, grandma and granddad or someone? Does your demographic play a factor?
That's a good question. I don't know. I believe more in like behaviors of people.
Yeah.
For example, I listen to 3 hours a day of like focus music when I'm working. I've never subscribed to those channels. Even think about it yourself. Have you subscribed lately, or ask your team, hey guys, how many of you subscribed on a YouTube channel? So it's more of like the general behavior, right? So that's a key thing that I really wanted to stress why it's bullshit and how I learned from it that it was bullshit, and
Yeah.
why it's keeping so many people from entering the space and from benefiting. Um, and so that's the first thing. Now the second thing is, yes, the niche matters. Yes, keywords matter. Trends and hacks, but I believe that YouTube is if you're creating content there, you have to be genuinely passionate about that you're creating content on. Because if not, I think that you will, potentially lose in the space. And this is something that I tell like clients, but even then, it's your duty to have, because even if you never get a subscriber or a view in your life, you have clients or prospective clients that you haven't closed, that is your job to send them more value. So it's for them, right? Like, it's the retention strategy, right? Like, it's not for your awareness and stuff, it's for you to send them that content. Now, if we get subscribers, awesome. If we grow, beautiful. But I think that anyone right now, it's like we're playing a lot of the value game, right? The jab, 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 right hook. So that's a really great way to do it.
I love it. So I'm in viewership, right? I want to get as many views as possible. We've been looking at our YouTube channel lately, and we're growing in views. And like you just said, subscribers not as much. But dude, I got my first big sale the other day, $40,000 sale, and they told me, I found you through YouTube. I was telling you about that before. So I'm in.
So there's a guy that wanted me to consult, and he's like, I want 1 million. No, he was in 50K subscribers. He was like, I want 100,000 subscribers, right? He's like, I want that plaque. And I told him, okay, right? He was from India. He was doing construction, and he was filming himself while doing construction. And he was getting like a shit ton of leads, right? Like crazy like amount of like leads traction, but he wanted 100K. And I told him subscribers is bullshit. And he was like, he freaking out. And I told him, do you want more subscribers or do you want more leads? And he's like, I want more leads. I'm like, perfect. So let's buy subscribers so that you get to 100K, and we just do more content that is getting more views so that you can get more leads, and then we just buy them. Now, when you buy relevant subscribers, what you do, and actually Mindvalley hasn't bought in a way in Mindvalley, in the Mindvalley, all of it was organic. We never bought. But this is a strategy that I'm doing with like scaling smaller channels, because you buy relevant subscribers, hence you increase your audience, because since you're already nurturing with content, you kind of increase your audience pool. So that way you're indirectly or increasing views.
Okay, so let's move over to growth a little bit, right? So I got my videos. I'm publishing here at Hite. I'm doing like one a week now, right? And now I want to start spreading it. Let's wait on the paid side, because I'm interested that organic. I'm seeing all these gurus. They just say post it everywhere, right? Go to your Facebook groups, post it in there. Go to Reddit is a big one I hear about, like post it all over Reddit. How have you found going out and just getting that stuff? I guess obviously it doesn't hurt by getting it out there the more, but Are you doing some of these strategies, or is there any, like, I don't know, quick tip on organically getting it out there more?
So to be honest, I've never been super worried with the whole like sharing it everywhere. I mean, I think that's kind of obvious. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, wow, share it everywhere. Well, of course it will grow, right? Like, so, I mean, sharing it, like, Facebook groups, emailing is good. I think that's something cool. Like before the video, like I think emailing will be the first one, instead of just saying share it everywhere outside. I'm like, shit, you have to share it with your people first, because you get an influx of targeted views that you control because it's your email list, right? So emailing will be good. The first hour that it goes out, boom, let's email it, because that kind of gives traction to the video, and that kind of like trickles in more traffic to other videos, right? It activates kind of the algorithm unnaturally, but in a cool way, right? So that will be one. Aside from the whole like optimization tags, you know what I mean, is I think that in the beginning it's a lot of snowballing, right? Because you don't know the patterns of what works. You don't know your content buckets, or I call it content buckets. You know, you have like 3 or 4 content that always works. You are spaghetti in the wall. You know, you're just putting just a bunch of shit that you like, or like marketing content that you like, and just like, you know, kind of like seeing, okay, shit, like what works. And people sometimes underestimate the strategy of that. They do so much research and shit, and that's good, but like also putting stuff out there, right? Like, for example, this guy, hey dude, I closed this $40,000 deal. From what video? Okay, cool. I'm going to do 10 more. I mean, not 10 more, but like 5. You know what I mean? I'm going to do 5 variations of that. Because, I mean, thank God that he told you that he knew that it came from that video, right? But it's like, oh, you got like, okay, I just had a client from here, like, let's, right? So we don't have that data yet to kind of go into freaking scale. Now, when we go into scale and we have like around 20, 30 videos, you know, 40 videos, then we start to see patterns, and then we start to multiply what works, right? We start to just like do more of what works and do less of what doesn't work. You know, it's kind of common sense, but many people in the marketing space don't do it that much. And the other one is actually a strategy that is the, so I mean, I have like a consulting, but I have a specific service, which is a strategy that it's a SEO strategy, okay? Which is, instead of like sharing your video, it's cool, but what if we could actually activate your video and share it into high authority platforms, social video platforms, you know, like what's it called, like archive.org and Medium and Dailymotion and Jiffy Cat. You know, there's so many like social video platforms that have authority, right? Authority in Google's eyes means that, you know, there's a high domain authority, means that the website has a authority, and Google considers that, right? So we started experimenting with that. We started experimenting with embedding, which is something that many people don't do. Embedding the video into high authority platforms, so that they can get more traction. And because at the end of the day, YouTube loves their videos in other platforms when they're embedded. Not really like share it in your social media. No, like we create basically like profiles, right? And then we basically embed them, right? This activates the video. This gives what we call a ranking signal to the video. So it's like telling YouTube, hey, holy shit, like your video is getting popular, man. It's embedded in so many websites that, like, you know, like rank on Google. Like we started to get Google traffic. Our video started to get even listed in the Google search results, which is more my background, treating it more as a search engine.
Yeah.
And you know, like the video starts getting traction, and as a result of that, you start getting a bit more views. You start getting more suggestibility. You know, there's this metric called suggested video percentage, which is how suggested your video is, right? In the recommended section. So, you know, we start to increase YouTube search percentage, all of that, right? And so that's another way. You can go do it by yourself. Like you can literally go Google like top video, authority platforms, right? Or websites, and you can go embedded. But yeah, that's basically like the one we're like, okay, just give us the video, we will do it, done. Because it is a pain in the ass, right? It is manually, it's not like a tool. So that's another like quick tip.
That's awesome, bro. Okay, and then on the paid side, last question on the paid side. So I got an extra $2,000. I want to increase my viewership, right? YouTube ads, I guess, or, you know, what, Facebook ads, redirecting. And then even through that, maybe even redirect them to my website, right? I was on with Chris Ducker, who's a big branding guy. And he was saying, dude, embed those videos right on your website, send them there, get them on your email list, and then email them all your YouTube videos. Like, what are on the paid side? What are you thinking?
You mean like you're deploying $2,000 on a paid search on an engine?
Yeah, on a paid strategy of some sort. I got
Yeah.
an extra 2K to throw into it. We've tested a lot of different things here, but is there any strategy that you're seeing that works better?
So I think that, I mean, I'm not the huge expert on the paid side, so I'm sure that maybe other experts have said better. But so one is the subscriber, right? But that in a way doesn't really give you a tangible ROI in the moment. It's more of an investment so that you increase your pool base of audience.
Correct.
Now, if I had those $2,000 and I already have a channel that has some traction, because I think it depends. The question is hard because it depends on the level of growth that the channel is in. So let's imagine that it's a channel that is usually the people that kind of come to me or that I like is usually between like 10 above and 50 above and 100 and above and below 500,000. That's kind of like the range that I play at, right? Because in the beginning you do have to, in Spanish we say like you have to like hit stones, like you just have to hit the stone, you know what I mean? Picar piedra, right? But above 10K, right? If you were already long enough, and that could be in 3, 5, 6 months, maybe a year max. Then if I was in that range, I would do this, okay? I'm considering that you have a funnel and that you already have some type of way to monetize in the back end, right? You're not an influencer that is selling products in their YouTube videos. What I would do is I would start to, first of all, I will deploy a conversion strategy. So I will optimize all of my videos for conversion. That's actually one of the things that I'm really excited about, which few people in the industry really have figured out, which is how do we get YouTube videos to actually send the people to the webinar and funnels and track it properly so that we can scale the content that works. So I will deploy that first, right? So that's technically free with your team. And basically is when you monetize your channel, I will become my own advertiser to that audience. So you become your own YouTube advertiser and you run a paid strategy, a retargeting or remarketing paid strategy for the current organic audience that you have already developed, okay? And then you create lookalikes. It could be on Facebook, could be in Google Ads. Usually it will be more in Google Ads. So you become your own advertiser, okay? And you deploy those 2,000 to them. And you show them your offer. So you close them because they already know you. And the ROAS that I've seen from that, I've never seen such high ROAS, right? We were playing like 100, 200. I'm playing like, and that is something that I'm like doing in my own product, by the way. Like I'm seeing, right? So I'm not a paid guy, but this is kind of like the logic that I'm like, hey, let's just retarget. So let's imagine for your example, right? If you know the video that brought you that amount, right? Create 5 videos more. You will get relevant audience from that guy. Start remarketing, start creating lookalikes of that guy. And you create the ad to that guy, which is basically, like the same profile. And then you're like, hey, you know what? Like, so you advertise, you become your own advertising in your own video. So it's like before your video starts, you are there in an ad, right? But you're converting them. You're like, dude, sign up, man. Like, or like get on a call with my team or whatever it is that your funnel looks like. That's what I would do with 2,000.
I love it, bro. I love that. You're a YouTube guy, but more so about making dollar bills off of YouTube, right? And then it's self-funding then, right? Like, oh man, it gets me pumped. It gets me excited. Sebas, if someone wants to work with you, where's the best place to find you?
You can just go over at my website, sebastianbeja.com. There you can book me, or on LinkedIn as well. I mean, to be honest, if any of you guys, that you like, just tell me, like, I want your audience to be like, tell me what's one thing you would take away from this, right? Like one action step that you would do. And then from some people, I will just choose like a couple and have a call with them if they want to go deeper. So just tell me what is one thing you learn, one thing you will execute on, and I will pick some of them. You can go in LinkedIn or directly in my website, Sebastian Beja. Yeah.
Sebastian Beja. We'll have that in the notes here, guys. Dude, I really appreciate your time and energy, dude. So those of you that don't know, I am actually now working with Sebastian. Super pumped and excited. And so here in about 6 months, you could check out my channel and I guess see how good he did, more or less. It'll be our own little test. So I'm super pumped, bro. I appreciate you, and looking forward to the next conversation down the road.
Awesome, man. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, JT. Thank you, Hite, everyone in the team. And yeah, man, I'll see you soon. Goodbye.